Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Rahil Remote Jawali and I am delighted to be your host today. And I am from Karachi, Pakistan. We have a very special guest with us who is renowned for his transformative insight in the world of business. Today we are honored to welcome Joe Nicassio to our virtual platform. Joe Nicassio, as many of you know, is often referred to as the world class business problem solver with this extensive experience as a marketing system expert and world class business coach. Joe has dedicated over the decades to unraveling the mysterious of success in the business world. So let's dive right in to get to know more about Joe Nicasio's remarkable life journey, his unique perspective on business, and the wisdom he has to share with us today. So, welcome, sir. How are you?
I am too blessed to be stressed.
Thank
I'm
you.
doing I'm doing well.
All right. Thanks so much. Sir, please introduce yourself for my viewers.
Sure, I'm Joe Nicassio. I'm an entrepreneur maker. I'm a profitable business creator, meaning I help existing business owners become more profitable. I spent, over 25,000 hours learning what I've learned, and I've learned from some of the best mentors on the planet. I got to spend over 7 years learning from Jay Abraham and others. And what I do is I use a lot of people, they say I want to go into business, but I don't know what business to go into. And I use a process that I've created called value sculpting. In other words, we all have value, we all have talents, we all have skills, we all have abilities. And my job, one of the things I help people do is figure out, how do you take your talents and your value and sculpt it and shape it into something you can take into the marketplace that's valuable to others, so they'll actually pay you money for that. And honestly, most people don't know how to do that. They start off saying, how can I make money? And they don't really look at their own value and their own personality and their own magic. And so let's start with your magic, and how can you make somebody's life better such a way they'll pay you money for it. That's kind of scratching the surface of what value sculpting is all about.
Okay, all right. That's great. Thank you so much for your introduction. So, now let's move on to questions. My first question is, can you elaborate on what you mean by everything you will learn about business is a big fat lie? What specific misconceptions or falsehoods do you believe exist in the business world?
Yeah, I don't say everything you've learned about business is a big fat lie. I say almost everything you've learned about business. So, you know, there is some truth blended in with that. But I think, first of all, I think the big fat lie about business is the purpose of a business is to make money. Now, we want to make money and we need to make money, but the purpose of a business is to create a customer. It's that human being that we serve. You know, uh, if you're trying to make money and all you're all about is money, 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 you put dollar signs in your eyes, you have commission breath, and you actually propel business away from you. So the first misconception about business is that it's just about making money. We all want to receive money, but the way business works is, you'll pay me money, but because in exchange for something else, I'm giving you value. And so, the measure of wealth is really not how much you receive, but how much you can give and share and serve and contribute to other people. We live in all the problems. There's two kinds of problems: the ones people will pay to solve and the ones they won't pay to solve. And, the easiest way to make $10,000 is to solve somebody's $100,000 problem. If you have $100,000 problem and I can make it go away for only $10,000, we have a phrase for that. It's called, "That's a good deal." That's a good deal. And so that's the first misconception, is that business is about making money. It's about creating customers. If customers don't see your value, they will not pay you money. The second misconception about business, there's a whole bunch of them. There's hundreds of them, really. But, like sales is a numbers game. If you treat people like a number, you deserve all the sales you don't get, because that objectifies people. Okay. Sales is not a numbers game. It's a relationship. It's about relationship. Relationship needs to go before revenue. If I care about you and I'm here to improve your conditions and improve your life, it's not a numbers game. It's about mastery. Mastery is 10 out of 10. If I have 10 people that have a disease and I have a medicine that cures that disease, I want everyone to eat that medicine. If you eat my medicine, you'll live. And if you don't eat my medicine, you'll die. I have a moral obligation, to make sure you get the medicine that's going to save your life. If I don't sell 10 out of 10, I'm doing you a moral disservice. The key is don't sell the medicine to people that don't have the disease. That's immoral. Okay. And so we got to get out of this idea that sales is a number game. I want to help people solve problems. You should want to help people solve problems too. And if you solve big problems, you'll make bigger money. If you if you solve smaller problems, you'll make smaller money. Boy, there's a whole bunch of misconceptions about business, but I could go on and on about that, but I bet you have other questions.
All right, great answer. Thank you so much, sir, for great answer. So my next question is: you mentioned that you are spent over 2 decades uncovering the truth about what really works in business. Could you share some key insight or principle that you will discover during this time?
Sure, sure. The truth about what works. The truth is, business starts with who's your ideal customer and what problem you solve for them. If you don't know who your customer is and you don't know what problem you solve what problem you solve for them, you're going to have a lot of difficulty having any kind of success in business. And so it all begins with who is your who. A lot of people, they say, well, I got this cool product, or I got this cool service. Okay, I got this cool software. And what they do is they make a mistake. They fall in love with their product or service instead of falling in love with their customer. When you fall in love with your customer and you're there to truly improve their conditions, I just went into this old Einstein quote. Don't try and be a man of success. Try and be a man of value, and of course, women too. Don't try and be a woman of success. Try and be a woman of value. What is value? Well, that's a big question. I think a lot of people don't understand value. But look, we all spend money. You spend money, I'm sure, right? You spend money on, I don't know, housing or food or transportation. The common thread in all of our spending is we spend money on things that make our life better. Okay. Why do you go eat at that nice restaurant? Because life is better to have a nice chef cooked meal once in a while. Why do you spend money on your rent? Because life is better to have a roof over your head than to be homeless. Why do you spend money to get the brakes fixed on your car? Well, life is better when your brakes work than when your brakes don't work, right? And so now if we spend money on things that make our life better, we want people to spend money with us. The most important thing is to start asking this question: how can I make other people's life better? And when people understand and appreciate how Manahil will make other people's life better, they will pay more money to Manahil. It's all about improving the conditions of the client. That's why we spend money with others, and that's why others will spend money with us, because all betterment. If I make your life a lot better, you'll pay me a lot more money. If I make your life a little bit better, you'll probably pay me a little amount of money. Also, I think one of the truths in business that's really important is that we all want to get paid the maximum amount of payment for the work that we do. Now, let's just say you're a consultant. How does the $1 million consultant make $1 million? Okay. There's four pieces. Number one is you have to have two ethical people. Like, I need to make your life better and you need to really be able to pay me. Okay. Number one. Number two, and this is the big one, is the perceived value of the buyer. If they perceive you as worth $1 million, they'll pay you 1 million. In other words, Manahil, if I bring you an extra $5 million of profit that you wouldn't have experienced without me, would you share 20% of that? Would you share $1 million with me? Now, if you got 5 million that I helped you get, okay, you'll probably pay me that 1 million, okay? But here's the key: is it's the perceived value of the buyer, okay? Not because I think I'm worth 1 million, it's because you think I'm worth 1 million, you're willing to share. Now, if I bring you an extra $5 million in cash, but you only perceive my contribution is worth $100, you're not going to pay me 101. So the best way to have high perceived value is to have high real value. But even though you have high real value, doesn't guarantee that the buyer perceives it. And so we have an extra responsibility, not only to have the value, but to make sure that they perceive it, they understand it, appreciate it, they desire it, and they're willing to pay for it. So how does the $1 million consultant make 1 million? Number one is two ethical people. Number two is perceived value of the buyer. The third one is you have to have the self-esteem, the confidence to charge what you're worth. One of the biggest reasons people make low money is they don't have the courage to ask for the value that they bring to the table. And so we need to have the courage to charge by the value that we give and not just charge by the hour. Getting paid by the hour is the absolute worst way to get paid. Time is more valuable than money. You can always get more money, but you can't get more time. Life is short. The fourth piece is you don't get paid what you're worth. You get paid what you negotiate. So you got to negotiate these things up front. If I bring you an extra, $5 million, would you share? You can't say, okay, I'm going to be your consultant and I'm going to charge you $1,000 an hour. We work together 10 hours. You pay me $10,000. Okay, then you go off and make 5 million. You can't go back afterwards and renegotiate and say, well, you owe me more, or you should pay me more, or no, that's what we negotiated. So you need to negotiate properly up front to make sure you get paid what you're worth. So let me summarize. Two ethical people, perceived value of the buyer. You got to make sure they perceive your value. You need to charge what you're worth. You can't let your low self-esteem stop you from charging too little. And you need to negotiate properly up front. Does that make sense?
All right, wonderful answer. Thank you so much, sir, for your answer. So you emphasizes the importance to finding one's unique goals and purpose in business. How do you help your clients identify and align with their unique goals and purpose?
Yeah. Okay. So goals and purpose are two different things. Okay. Goals is what I want to achieve. Okay. These are my goals. Okay. Purpose, on the other hand, is really, again, I have this process called value sculpting. And there's four phases to that. Number one is you need to go on kind of an exploration of what values do you have to work with? There's three major categories. There is, there's your, um, there's your tangible assets. Tangible assets are things like real estate or cash or equipment. Those are important things, but there's also your intangible assets, and that's where the biggest magic is. So there's tangible assets, intangible assets, and relational assets. So intangible assets is your skills and your talents and your abilities, your training that you've taken, um, your ability to do problem solving. And there's a lot of there are hundreds of possible, um, intangible assets. A doctor goes to medical school and they get a diploma and they get a medical license. The tangible asset is that diploma and that medical license. How much could you sell your diploma for on eBay? Not much, maybe $5. Okay. Nobody can really use it without being a fraud. Okay. So why do doctors make so much money? Because of their intangible skills, their ability to observe a patient, their ability to feel the pulse, their ability to diagnose and come up with like what's really going on with this patient. Why are they unhealthy? And then to prescribe the right medications or to perform procedures. The ability to perform a procedure is an intangible asset. Okay. And it's that invisible magic where the money is. And then the third kind of asset is relational asset. So um, it's not what you know, but who you know. And if you have good relationships, like you can start a business, um, without a piece of real estate if you know somebody where you can negotiate a deal to use other people's real estate, other people's money, other people's intellectual property, other people's unused staff, other people's um, intellectual property, other people's um, um, free time, other people's ingenuity. Okay. So we can also harness the power of relationships. Now, I'm a big fan. Now, there's a downside to that, and that is you're not truly self-reliant. So you want to start off with what do you have, in terms of your tangible assets? What do you have in terms of your skills and abilities? That actually is enough to start a business. I'm a big fan of self-reliance instead of employer reliance or government reliance or other reliance or family reliance. The more you can be more self-reliant, the better off you are. I just want to make sure that we get this one more point across. And this is a very big point. A lot of people say, well, I can't start a business because I don't have money. I want to give you a really powerful secret here. It doesn't take money to make money. It takes customers. So if you can serve somebody and make their life better and they pay you money for it, you are making money. Anybody could start a house cleaning business if they wanted to. Okay. It doesn't take money to clean somebody's house. You just need to go in and show up. They have a vacuum cleaner. They have the soaps and the cleaning supplies. But you could make money. Say, I'll clean your house for $50 or whatever. You could start, I'll clean your office, clean your house. You could start a lawn mowing business. I'll push your lawnmower and mow your lawn. I'll trim the hedges. Okay. It doesn't take money to make money. It takes customers. And far too many people, they're waiting for somebody to show up with, an investor and you may be waiting a long time for an investor. So don't wait for an investor. Go get some customers. Matter of fact, I'll say one more thing here. In the last 20 years, 23 years since I've been a business coach, I've had over 4,000 investors, but I don't call them investors. I call them clients. I call them customers. Every time somebody buys from you, they're investing in you. And you need to be very clear about that. The customers are not just people who spend money with you. They are people that are under your care and protection. And because they pay you money, you take good care of them. And if you don't take good care of them, of course, you'll lose them as customers. So every customer you get is an investor. So quit thinking you need to go get an investor. Go get some customers and you're in business.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for your answer. So, Tiffany packaging a business to increase its perceived value. Could you explain what this concept entails and how it benefit business?
Sure. We spend money on things that improve our value and that we perceive that will improve our value. If I take, mail, I take you in a brown paper bag and I take the same Manahill and we put you in a powder blue Tiffany box, it's the same you, but we can package you more attractively. Okay. So how do you package, how do you make what you do attractive? It's really important that, you know, some people just go, want to buy my stuff. Here's an iPhone. Okay. I have an iPhone right here. Now I could take this iPhone and put it on, just sell it in a box. Okay. Or, you can go into a jewelry store, they have it, on a little velvet pillow behind the glass, and then they open the glass and they put out the pillow and they present it attractively. All of us have the ability to package our material more attractively. If what we're doing is more attractive, people buy. And there's a lot of ways to do that. There's the physical presentation, there's the storytelling. The storytelling and the way you tell your stories can make it more attractive. There's the testimonial proof. There's a lot of ways we can make things more attractive. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people don't take the time and effort. They're just like, here's what I do, want to buy my stuff, versus, once upon a time, a man walked onto a construction site and 3 men were working. He asked the first man, what are you doing? And the first man said, I'm laying bricks. He asked the second man, what are you doing? And he said, I'm building a wall. And he asked the third man, what are you doing? And he stood up, looked to the heavens and said, I'm building a cathedral so that I can get closer to God. Are you just laying bricks in your business? Are you building walls in your business? Or are you building a cathedral for you and for others to get closer to their spiritual greatness in the sight, in the eyes of a heavenly Father who loves you very much? See, that's the difference.
Oh, that's great, Journey. Thank you so much for your answer. So, as a business coach, you mentioned that you will hold clients accountable. Could you explain how you ensure accountability and help clients stay on track towards their business goal?
Well, this is a really interesting. I'm a fan of implementing and helping people implement. If you come and learn and you don't take action, you're not going to get the results. So there's 5 keys to implementation. Number 1 is you need to know what to do. And if I say market your business, that's 1,000 different ways. If you go, how do I market my business? You'll get, 2 billion answers. So you need to know what to do, number 1. Number 2 is you need to know how to do it. If I said you need to write a sales letter, well, how do you write a sales? There's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of fine tuning in the way you present your sales message. So what to do, how to do it. Number 3 is you need to have the resources. Maybe you need a template, or you need a framework. You need a structure. So you need to have the resources. The 4th piece that's key to implementation is feedback, both positive and negative feedback. You need to know when something's good enough, and you need to also know when something's not good enough. And finally, there is this piece called accountability. And, as a coach, I think it's important that, my job is to be your best friend and your worst nightmare. I'm here to teach you what really works. Okay. And that makes me your friend, but I'm also here to make you do what you're supposed to do, even when you don't feel like doing it. And so I need to kick your ass a little bit and make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, because you'll never get the results. Now, here's the thing about accountability is, you don't need accountability if you have integrity. Okay. Accountability, and what is integrity? Accountability begins with integrity. You make a promise to yourself to do what you say you're going to do when you say to do it, and you keep it. If you can make a promise and keep a promise, you have integrity and you don't need somebody to remind you. Okay? The only reason that you need somebody to remind you is because you don't have the integrity. You don't even keep your word. You say, I'm going to do something, and you don't do it. Lie, liar, pants on fire, you know? So you need to have the honesty and the integrity to do what you say you're going to do. You don't need accountability if you have integrity. It's a really big believer in that. Did I answer your question?
All right, sir. Thank you so much for your answer, and thank you, Mr. Joe Nicassio, for sharing your invaluable insight and experiences with us today. Your journey is uncovering the truth of business, and your dedication to helping entrepreneurs find their unique path to success are truly inspiring. So, as we wrap our conversation, it's evident that your unconventional approach to business coaching and marketing holds to potential to evolution how we perceive and negative business navigate business world. Your emphasis on real result accountability and aligning business goals with a higher purpose is a refreshing perspective. So thank you once again, Mr. Joe Nicassio, for being our guest today to our audience. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to talk to you. Thank you.
All right. God bless
Bye.
you.
Bye. Have a